guys, it's the TMI Queen. So I have an announcement at the end of this video, so stay tuned for more information. Okay, so after this last week, I have had a few people ask me, what is your diet plan? And what is your fitness plan? A fitness plan is super easy. Just any kind of exercise-like movement for 30 minutes, once a day. That's it. That's about all I can handle really physically, so without being in extreme pain. I do have 2 herniated discs in my back. They'll never go away short of having surgery, which my doctor has recommended against. I'm a little bit limited on the type of exercise that I can do. I still try to do as much as I can. It's mostly just walking. Walking is my favorite thing to do. And so that's what I choose to do. I get on a treadmill or go take a hike somewhere or go walk down by my local beach, whatever. That's the extent of my exercise program. Beyond that, my diet is 1,500 calories if I exercise, 1,200 if I don't exercise. This was cleared by my doctor, so I know that it's safe. I checked into a lot of the fads that have been going around because, you know, I was like on board with some of the newest ones that have come out. And the only reason that I didn't do it, and it's in no way whatsoever ripping on your diet plan if that's what you do. And I'm not gonna call out any specific diet plan, but you'll probably understand which one I'm talking about when I bring it up. I've struggled a little with eating issues, and I've had to be really cautious about things that are highly restrictive because they can kind of push me into something that I shouldn't be doing. I try to avoid eating plans or fad diets that restrict you to a certain type of food or to avoiding certain types of foods, because everything is fine in moderation. So says my dietitian. But that being said, I don't restrict anything. However, I do limit a lot of things. Most of my foods, I'd say 75% of the time, is lean meat, fruit, and vegetable, period. The thing with a lot of the processed foods that are out there, most of them, and I don't know the science behind it, so I don't want to act like I know what I'm talking about, but the general idea is that because of the lack of nutrients in these processed foods, it causes you to still crave food. And it's because your body still craves the nutrients because you're not getting it from the processed food. That's why frozen TV dinners are usually out for me. Anything that's in the middle aisles of my grocery store, I don't eat. Only on the outside of the grocery store, which is your fresh meat, your fresh dairy, your fresh produce. That's it. That's what I try to eat, probably 75% of the time. And like I said, it's not perfect. Why? Because I really and truly like some of those processed foods. But instead of eating them every day like I used to, now I limit them to certain amounts of times per week or per month. An example is soda. Soda, I still drink soda, and you'll hear this a lot from me. I restrict nothing. When people say, you know, what are some of your no-no foods? There are no no-no foods. Because if I say no to any of those foods, guess what? It's all I think about, it's all I crave, and then I end up binging. So I don't restrict anything. But as far as like soda, I have maybe 2-3 glasses tops a week. And it's usually just on the weekend. But the rest of the time, it's water with every meal. And let me tell you, that one was probably the hardest thing I ever did, because I grew up having some kind of pre-sweetened drink with every meal as a kid. Sometimes I had like milk with my meal, but normally it was like Kool-Aid or pop. So that was a really hard one for me to transition out of. And I slowly transitioned out of that one. I went from having soda, then I had like lemonade, because I tried to like keep it like a fruit juice. And I tried to get like the natural lemonade, not the powdery stuff. You know, I wanted no chemicals, no fake food. I switched to like the real lemonade. Then slowly just watered down my lemonade more and more and more until finally I was like, you know what? I can go ahead and just have water now. And surprisingly, I'm good with having water now. And I never thought I'd see the day, but I did it. But like I said, I don't give up anything. I don't keep it in the house, because if it's in the house, I will consume it. It's better now that I don't have kids living at home because they still consumed it. But for me, I was that way as a kid, but now that I'm older, after having kids and everything, and especially now as I'm getting closer to menopause age, I need all the help I can get to lose weight. Back on topic, the other thing that I have limited is bread. Any kind of bread, even whole grain bread, because it's very high in calories and I love bread. But now I make it more of a treat versus something that I have every day, because growing up, it was sandwiches for lunch every day. That's what I had. And now I maybe have bread 1 to 2 times a week, and that's it. Pasta was really hard, because pasta I usually had 2 to 3 times a week, and now I have it once a month. And believe me, I savor my pasta day so much. Like, I look forward to it. I have dreams about it because I love pasta. I love pasta so much. That one was a really hard one to give up, but again, you know, the weight just kept dropping the less I had pasta. I'm not gonna say no to pasta because I love pasta. Probably the hardest one to stop was cookies and pastries. My grandkids really like cookies, and frankly, so do I. I had to buy smaller packages of it so that after they left, these packages of like Oreo cookies or chocolate chip cookies weren't just hanging around the house, because if it's there, I'm going to eat it. So I had to start buying like the snack sizes, like the snack packs that only had like 4 cookies in it. And it was just enough for them to each have 1 and then me have 2 because I'm bigger. And then ice cream, that's the other thing. My grandkids look forward to and talk about Grandma's taking them for ice cream. I had to limit it because I would take them out every day for ice cream if I could. And so I had to say once a week. Once a week we're gonna have ice cream, and that's it. But that's our special thing that we do. I stopped treating it like something I could have every day and made it a treat that I could have once in a while. And after I started doing that, the weight came off a lot easier. Is this whole thing perfect? No, it's not. Because I'm a human being, and we all are. And I struggle because sometimes the cravings do get the better of me, but they're getting the better of me less and less. I feel like I'm getting somewhere with it. I would say if you're struggling with your weight loss and you're struggling with hunger and you're struggling with cravings, I would really suggest to you to try to go as naturally as possible. Fresh fruits and fresh veggies. Frozen if you have to, because like for me, I'm single and fresh fruits and veggies go bad after like 2 days in my house because I just don't eat it fast enough. Or they get mushy and weird. OCD, you know. My stuff needs to be firm and fresh, or I just buy it frozen, and that way I can have it whenever and it'll last a long time. Fresh fruits and fresh veggies, or frozen fruits and frozen veggies, not canned, because the canned vegetables are usually cooked and then put into the can. When it gets cooked, it loses all of its nutrients. And plus, a lot of them, they add salt to it to keep it preserved on top of the canning, and it's just generally not as good for you. If that's all you can afford, then whatever, but If you can just have frozen, if you need to have something that's just ready to eat or something like that, I would recommend frozen over even canned. Same with fruit. Fruit, like they usually add like extra juice to keep it preserved, or they put it in heavy syrup. So you're not getting the health benefits of eating that fruit because they're adding a bunch of preservatives and additives to keep it fresh. And then of course, lean meats, which you can get from your local meat department. And you can buy that sort of stuff in bulk, and you can even buy it frozen, and it tastes just fine after you thaw it. I mean, obviously fresh is best, but you know, like I said, for me, food goes bad if I try to eat fresh all the time. So I have to buy frozen, or I buy it fresh and then freeze it, because it is what it is. I know that a lot of people who are struggling with their weight loss, if I take a look at their meals, they're heavy in rice, they're heavy in pasta, they're heavy in bread, they're heavy in potatoes, they're heavy in fruit drinks. You know, it's too much sugar, too much processed stuff, too much sodium. And I realize not everybody can afford fresh. It is expensive AF. I will tell you that right now. I have doubled my grocery bill by buying fresh. It's slightly cheaper when I buy it frozen, so that's another reason why I've opted to buy frozen versus fresh. If you're really struggling with losing weight, take a look at what you're eating specifically, because I guarantee you there's a lot of processed items in that mix. The less of it you can eat, you don't have to give it up entirely, but the less that you eat, the better off you'll be. And this is dietitian approved, and that's the only reason I'm sharing it with you, because I would never, ever, ever try to promote an eating plan that is not doctor recommended, because I personally, I get a little bothered, I guess, sometimes when I see people touting these really, awesome fad diets or shakes or lollipops or whatever, because it's all fake foods. You're not getting real nutrients, real vitamins, real minerals. You need those from fresh food. Supplements are great, but they're still not fresh food. And the thing is, you won't have to take a lot of those supplements if you're getting it from your fresh food. Save yourself a ton of money in that respect. Right now, I still take a lot of multivitamins because I'm severely deficient in a couple of major nutrients that I need to keep my migraines under control and to keep my depression under control, specifically my seasonal depression. I don't know that I'll ever get away from those particular vitamins, but a lot of those vitamins I probably won't need to take because I'm getting it from my food instead of, eating a bunch of fake food that has no nutritional value whatsoever, being hungry all the time, being cranky all the time, or having this and that health issue because of that I'm eating. Some of you might be asking, why are you so against some of these fad diets? I'm gonna tell you a story. Back, I'd say about 15, almost 20 years ago, Atkins was really the big thing. You don't hear about it hardly as much anymore. Now it's all about keto. But back in that particular time, Atkins was the premier diet to do. Everybody was doing it, everybody, and they were dropping tons of weight. Somebody that I worked with went on the Atkins diet, and he came and he was like a vendor, so he, I didn't see him all the time, but after 6 months of this diet, he came in and he was so skinny, and I was like, oh my gosh, how did you lose all that weight? And he was like, Atkins. I'm like, that's amazing. And I mean, he dropped so much weight in such a short amount of time. He said, yeah, my doctor told me I needed to lose weight because, I've been having heart issues, da da da. And I was like, okay, but you're filling your body with a ton of high cholesterol items. So you lost this weight to make things a little easier on your heart, but you're filling your arteries with clogging materials. Like, is that really the best idea? I mean, even then, I didn't know a lot about, nutrition as much as I do now. But even then, I knew, you know, because of having grandparents that had heart attacks and strokes, I knew that having that much meat probably wasn't that good for you. He died a year later from a heart attack. His cholesterol levels were terrible. His son posted on his blog about his death and said, you know, even though he lost all this weight, you know, what he ate clogged his arteries and it's essentially what killed him. I think about that now with people on these new fad diets, and it's like, sure, you're losing weight. It's working. So did the other diet, you know, that this guy was on. It worked. But is it good for you? Is it healthy for you? And you'll have doctors, you know, I tried the one, you know, I was ready to try the one fad diet, and he was like, are you a child? And I'm like, what? No, obviously. Are you epileptic? And I'm like, no. And he goes, that's what that diet is for, period. It is not for adults. You're gonna end up diabetic or with cancer or with clogged arteries. Take your pick. And I was like, really? I mean, he was really upset. And I mean, he gets upset a lot. He's very passionate about what he does. But what he said made a lot of sense. It's like, I could lose weight a lot of different ways. And there were ways that I used to lose weight when I was younger that definitely were not healthy for me and bordered on an eating disorder, that bordered on anorexia, if we're gonna just be completely honest here. I restricted my calories. I restricted the types of foods that I ate. You know, everything was very restrictive. Had I been a little bit different mentally, I feel like I would have fallen into that very easily. I was willing to do anything to lose weight, and I didn't think about the consequences that it had on my body. I think about it now because, you know, I'm looking at, okay, I could do this. What's it going to do to my heart? Is it going to increase my risk of cancer? You know, after watching multiple family members die of cancer, do I want to increase that risk? You know, I'm always looking at risk values to everything that I do. Is this going to clog my arteries? Is this going to put me at a higher risk for cancer? Is this one going to put me at a higher risk for diabetes? I have to think of all those things because they're all in my family history, and I'm twice as susceptible to those things because of that. Again, I am not ripping on your way of doing things. If it's not this way, you lose weight how you lose weight. I don't want to say I don't care, because I care about people, but you have to do what's right for you. And if your doctor is fine with you doing it, if they feel like you're in good enough health to tolerate something, or if they feel like something is healthy for you, then you do you. Don't worry about what I'm doing, because I'm just telling you what I do. And I'm telling you the reason why I do what I do. I don't want to get myself into more disordered eating and regimented eating, because it just sets me on a path. Your journey is different, so don't take anything I say as offensive or anything, because I'm just saying this is what I do personally. So here's the big announcement. I have some new social media contacts. The link is down below. My final announcement, and it's kind of a challenge or a call to action, if you will. If you can make that happen, that would be great, by not only liking and commenting, but also sharing and subscribing if you haven't already. Aw, look at the puppy, he's so cute. So my newest challenge for you is I am currently at 98 subscribers. 98. I'm 2 away from 100, and you have no idea what that is doing to my OCD. So, my challenge to you is to help me get to 100 subscribers. Once I hit 100 subscribers, I would like you to comment below on this video and give me some ideas for videos you'd like to see. And it doesn't have to be health or fitness related. It could just be some BS thing. I don't care. I will give you a shout out, especially if you have a channel. I'll give you a shout out and link you below as well in my future video. That's my challenge for y'all this week. Like, comment, subscribe, ding that bell if you want to get the latest updates when they come out. I promise I will be as boring as possible so that you want to unsubscribe, but you can't, because it's going to be like a train wreck. It's going to be like, oh my God, not another video from the TMI Queen. Please, no, dear God, no. That's what it's going to be like. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.